Well, hi again. It's Rob Ryder, and it is Sunday, the 6th of October, 2024. And today it's going to be about Congressman Moolenaar, veteran requests his law. In this case, it's Title 38 United States Code, Section 5706, which has to do with Veterans Identification Card. And the law gives the specifications about the card, and well, guess what? That's not the card that you get from the VA now. The biggest difference is that the one in the law says that the Secretary of Veterans Affairs is supposed to charge a fee for the card. And there is no card that you can get for the VA that you pay a fee for. So you're not getting the card they're talking about. And the reason it's important is the card that you pay a fee for proves that you're affiliated with the armed forces of the United States. So I'll explain it more as we get into it. Who am I? Well, I'm Lusky Robert Allen, DOD ID number 12112800006, voluntary enlistee. And as I've said numerous times, if you've an enlistee, enlisted since December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor, and unless you have a letter from the president that terminated your enlistment, well, you're still in the military. And if you're still in the military, according to your enlistment agreement, you're entitled to pay benefits, allowances, and so forth. Which is all there, it's just we're not getting it, right? There's always a glitch in the paperwork. The administrative state is between us and our relief. And that's kind of what happened here. I've already tried something to my congressman and got an answer back, and I can see, well, either it's the congressman doing it or it's the administrative state doing it, and the congressman has no idea they're doing it. But, anytime you hear a congressman talk about veterans, they all love us. So I'm saying, well, it must not be the congressman did it. It's just the administrative state. So I'm trying to circumvent the administrative state by doing this video. Maybe somebody can help me get it to Congressman Moolenaar. Because it does say in the First Amendment, right, that Congress shall make no law respecting an established religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government redress of grievances. That's the part of the First Amendment they never talk about. They always talk about free speech or the press, right? Well, how about petitioning the government for redress of grievances? Because it says in the Constitution of the United States, and also the Constitution of the United States of America. I hope you all know there's two different constitutions. I'll show them to you before we're done. But they have the same basic structure and many of the same basic elements, and this is one of them, that in the first article, under Section 8, Congress should have the power, right, to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States. Well, excellent, I'm petitioning the government, so he's got the power, or in any department or office thereof. In this case, it's the Department of Veterans Affairs, and specifically the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. So this dude, Moolenaar, can do it all by himself. He just needs to put on a different hat. Grab some other hats that come with your office there, Congressman, and let's make me a law that says they're going to give me that card and go enforce it. Which is the problem right now, getting anything enforced in our favor. Okay, give me a second. We'll get going here. Hang on just a minute, please. Let's begin with this. I want to get this out of the way. So this is the United States Senate website, and it says it's the Constitution of the United States. And we go into the Constitution, read the preamble, and at the end it says, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Okay, this is the manual for court martials. Now, the reason this is important is the military came before Congress. The very first thing the Continental Congress created was the military, U.S. Army, or actually the Continental Army, of which the U.S. Army is now part of. Anyways, it has in here its amendments, appendixes, and this one says it's the Constitution of the United States of America. The one in Congress says Constitution for the United States of America. And the one that the military uses says the Constitution of the United States of America. Well, so you say that's not that big a deal, Redlewski. What are you talking about? Let's go on a little bit further. Here's Article 1. We're not really interested in that for today. Just really quickly. There could be other things in this, but let's go look at Article 2. All right, the President, the executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. Again, this is the Senate's site. He shall hold office during a term of years, blah, 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 blah. And now we're going to go look at the Constitution of the United States from 1787, when it was originally invoked. All right, the executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States, and together with Vice President chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. You know, the whole thing reads different. One says the United States of America, and then the next sentence isn't the same. They're not the same Constitution. The biggest thing is, well, who has the executive power? Well, the military says the President of the United States has the executive power. The United States Senate says that the President of the United States of America has the executive power. Well, who is that? Because even Biden stands in front of a sign that says President of the United States, and he's not claiming to be the President of the United States of America. And if we go further in here, we would see their oath of office that they take. So in this Constitution on the Senate site that says that the executive power resides in the President of the United States, the guy taking the oath here says that I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States. It doesn't say United States of America. It just says President of the United States. Which is the same thing that the Constitution of the United States in the manual court-martial says. So they're allegedly taking an oath for the office of President of the United States, but the Constitution that Congress uses says that the executive power is vested in a President of the United States of America. I think we have a problem. But for now, that's out of my control. So back to what I was trying to do. So I'm trying to get this ID card that I found in the law, and I went to the VA and so forth and get any help there. So I said, I'm going to write my congressman. And every congressman has one of these websites, right? Help with Federal Agency, where you can go in here and fill this information out. Print out the document. Then you have to print out the document, sign it, and you can email it, or you can mail it, or fax it, or a lot of different things. And right at the, from the beginning, I didn't like it because you have to pick a prefix, right? So I'm not a Mr., right? A Mr. is a serf to an Esquire. Yeah, not a rabbi. So I don't know which one I picked, but we'll have to go see. Then I crossed it out and put soldier because I am a soldier for life. That's what the Army says. So if we need to use titles, well, you can call me soldier. But that isn't happening. So anyways, I filled this out. So we're going to go look at it and then see what's happened since. Alrighty now then. So this is the original public law from this act may be cited Veterans Identification Card Act 2015. Got that. And it's at 129 stat 428. And you're told that the statutes at large, which that's supposed to represent, are the laws of the United States. And so they're the supreme law of the land in accordance with the 6th article of the Constitution of the United States. This is what should happen. You don't do this, you're warring with the Constitution. And it goes through why you should have them. And that basically, this is what I found interesting from the beginning, was that effective on the day before the date of the enactment of this act, veteran identification cards were issued to veterans who have either completed the statutory time and service requirement for retirement from armed forces or who have received a medical-related discharge from the armed forces. Well, okay, now they're saying everybody should have this card. So, what's all that about? So anyways, I said, okay, I want this card. And it comes out, they say, well, you don't have to carry around your DD-214 discharge papers, which really aren't proof of anything. But that's the biggest thing about this. It's supposed to provide proof. So let's see what it's for. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, check. It didn't say VHA or VBA or cemetery people that they're supposed to do it. No, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs shall issue an identification card. Shall, described in subsection B to each veteran who requests such card. Well, that's what I was doing. Presents a copy of the Department of Defense Form DD-214 or other official document from an official military personnel file of the veteran that describes the service of the veteran and pays the fee prescribed pays the fee under subsection C1. There you go. Gets to pay a fee because it shall. Identification card describes the section as a card issued to a veteran that displays a photograph, displays the name of the veteran, explains that such card is not proof of any benefit which the veteran is entitled to, contains identification number that is not Social Security number, and serves as proof that such veteran served in the armed forces of the United States and has a Department of Defense Form D-214 or other official document in the official military personnel file of the veteran that describes the service of the veteran. Simple enough. Cost of the card, C1, right up here, C1. Well, now we're talking about it. The Secretary shall charge a fee to each veteran who receives an identification card issued under this section, including a replacement identification card. The fee charged under the paragraph 1 shall equal such amount as the Secretary determines is necessary to issue an identification card under this section. In determining the amount of the fee under subparagraph A, the Secretary shall ensure the total amount of fees collected under the paragraph 1 equals the amount necessary to carry out this section, including costs related to any additional equipment or personnel required to carry out this section. Secretary shall review and reassess the determination under subparagraph A during a 5-year period in which the Secretary issues an identification card under this section. Each 5-year period. Amounts collected under the subsection will be deposited in the account of the department available to carry out this section. Amounts so deposited shall be merged with amounts in such account available in such amounts as may be provided in the Appropriation Act, subject to the same conditions and limitations amounts otherwise in such amount. Affected cards and benefits. Identification card issued in the section shall not serve as proof of any benefits. Veterans who issued the identification card under the section shall not be entitled to any benefits under this title by reason of possessing the card. Okay, I got some administrative measures which include in carrying out this section, the Secretary shall coordinate the National Personnel Record Center, and he may conduct outreach to advertise identification card under the section. Not be construed to affect identification cards otherwise provided by the Secretary to veterans enrolled in the health care system under some other section, right? So that's the VA health care or Veterans Health Administration card that you can get, and so forth. So, and just one other little tidbit. It says that on or before the date of the enactment of this act, the Department of Veterans Affairs has the infrastructure in place across the United States to produce photographic identification cards and accept a small payment to cover the costs of the cards. It sounds so simple. You would think you'd be able to do it. Well, this law then gets put into Title 38 under Chapter 57. And, right here, Chapter 57, which has to do with records and investigations. Now, the thing about, Title 38, well, this is a veteran's benefit. So these investigations would be things for your benefit. This ID card is something for your benefit. It's a benefit for you to have these things, but you can't get them. So if you're having a problem, let's say, getting your benefits from the VA, All right, you should be able to go here to get an investigation done. Authority to issue subpoenas, validity of affidavits, disobedience of subpoenas, so forth and so on. These are all benefits that we're supposed to have. Now, what I found out since I started this is that at each regional office, like Detroit's got a regional VA office, they're supposed to have an office of general counsel there, and there's supposed to be somebody there that has the power to issue subpoenas, right? So I'm going to check into that a little bit closer. I hadn't gotten there yet. But if you've not ever looked at Chapter 57 of Title 38, it's and you're a veteran, has a lot of things in here that we should be able to get that we're not able to, right? There's Veterans Identification Card. I'm not going to go any more about that right now. Just wanted to show where it was. All right, checked it off the list. So I was saying, that this doesn't replace any other cards already being issued, right? So as an example, here's an example of what you get from VA Health as a card. And, I have one of these, but it isn't the card they're talking about. So, okay, well, I don't want that one. I want the other one. Well, then they tell you, well, go online and get this one. As I'm going to show you, we'll get into how this all fits together, but, this is the card they tell you to get online. You can send in a picture, fill out the form, they're going to send you back a card, and it's going to look like this. And if this is the way it looks, well, James Clark, I'm sure James has a given name larger than James, right? I don't want to call it the middle name, but if we need to, okay, middle name, right? Where's his middle name? That's not the name. In other words, that name there is not the name on his military ID. That name there is not the name on his DD-214. Right? That name there isn't on his DD Form 4 enlistment agreement. And then this card serves as proof of service in the uniformed service of the United States. Well, that isn't what the law said. It said Armed Forces of the United States, because there's a difference. There's the uniformed services has like 2 more services in it than the Armed Forces does. You got something to do with public health and somebody else, right, that are in the uniformed services, but they're not part of the armed services. So this card doesn't mean no good. It doesn't do anything that the law said to do. But this is the one that they tell you to get. So I had tried trying to get through VHA, Veterans Health Administration. I've not really tried going to VBA yet, but I am going to try that, and I'm going to put on my request, to the Secretary of the VA and try to circumvent the BS. We'll see what happens. But anyways, one of the things I did is I contacted the VA White House hotline that Trump had set up. And, that guy didn't seem to think he was going to be able to do anything for me. Because he's saying, well, get the one that's online. I said, well, that's not the one that's in the law. And, unfortunately, people allow imprecision to stand between them and what is theirs. Right? Because the whole idea of the administrative state is put errors and omissions in records so nothing happens. So there's never really a complete record of anything. But anyways, I did it, and this was the reply I got that I had done it. And I got a case number and said 14 days. And about 14 days later, right, first of all, administration, VHA, right? So about 14 days later, I get a call from VHA out of Battle Creek, which I've been already talking to, telling me the same thing they told me 2 weeks before. And in that time, though, I had also contacted my representative, which is... Since I said, I want to wait till I get an answer from him to do anything. And I finally got an answer. But so as I said, you can go here and fill out this form. You got to do next page, next thing. Then you have to print it, and then you have to, do whatever it takes to get it to them, which they discuss in the document. But So I did, and when you print it out, it looks something like this. So, I picked doctor, and then I crossed it out, put soldier. All right, agency involved, United States Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, maybe I should have put Secretary of Veterans Affairs. I wonder if he is an agency. Branch service, standard stuff. So my message was Congress enacted the Veterans Identification Card Act of 2015. It's the United States Code, Section 38, U.S.C. 5706. But the Secretary of Veterans Affairs has failed to comply with the Act's mandate to charge a fee and issue a Veterans Identification Card conforming to the Act's stipulations. This omission deprives veterans of proof of service in the armed forces. The Department of Veterans Affairs does not charge a fee for any identification its agencies provide, nor do the Choose VA nor Veterans Health Identification Card, two that I just showed you, use the veteran's full name, nor display required statements. Secretary of Veterans Affairs disregard for the will of the people is a criminal civil rights violation intended to deprive veterans of proof of service in the armed forces, or a mistake that will be immediately corrected. Well, that ain't happened yet. Congressman Moolenaar, I want my proof of service in the armed forces, so make the secretary give it to me. P.S. Your choice as a prefix to use discriminates against soldiers by not including a choice, it has a choice, and then forcing me to choose an inferior status. Please add soldier to the list or remove the mandate. I include one. Right, Privacy Act 74 requires members of Congress and their staff shall have written authorization before they can obtain information about the individual's case. We must have your signature to proceed with casework. So I signed it, and you can email it. That was one of the choices, right? Print, sign, and mail, fax, email, or deliver in person this request to, right, Office of Congressman John Moolenaar. So, technically I didn't send it to the congressman, I sent it to his office. Now the administrative state has it, and all they got to do is keep him from having it and do shit in his name that he doesn't know about, and, they can rule the world, which is how they run a business right now. Well, finally, that was like on the 29th, and this was supposed to have been sent. So here's the envelope I get. Doesn't have any date. Well, it does. 1 October. So, basically 1 month later, maybe 5 weeks later, I'm getting this. That's supposed to be they can frack mail, right? U.S. House of Representatives, Washington, D.C. And that's supposed to be a public document, which I got to see what that means exactly. But nevertheless, hey, I got some mail. But it didn't have Robert Allen Ritluski. I did it in my full legal name. I used my title. They made me use one. They didn't put it on here, right? So somebody just grabbed an envelope. So I think there's some mail fraud going on here. And the first sheet said Congress, United States, Washington, D.C., 20515, with nothing else in here. Blank. It is my understanding you may not have received the attached email communications from Congressman John Moolenaar. And I wanted to take the opportunity to share this information with you. Thank you. If you have any questions or concerns, please call me in the office please call the office with their phone number. Taryn Burnick, Director of Constituent Services, Administrative State. Oh, it's not on there, but hey, it might as well be. So pay attention here, right? Congress, United States. That's what's on there. And this is a cover letter saying, hey, whatever was next is supposed to be an email. Well, if it was emailed to me, then you should know if I got it or not. Right? The attached email communications. Sir, this is what your crew put on my paperwork. Sorry, I got to fix this before I go any further. Hang on a second. So as you can see, this isn't necessarily addressed to me. There's no name on it. Right? It's got her name, but there's no signature. There's no not signature block, but title block or anything in the beginning. And then we go to look at the thing that she says, well, this is what was emailed to you. And this is Congress, United States, House of Representatives, Washington, D.C. It's got a different zip code. Right? Let's go from the very beginning. It's got a seal. Got no seal. Congress, United States, House of Representatives. Congress, United States, no House of Representatives. Washington, D.C., 20515-4802, and, well, it was not the same. So, Taryn, where did this piece of paper come from? Why is it different than this one? And this one says, Dear Robert Allen. Well, that's not what the envelope said. It said, Dear Robert. How come it doesn't have my last name? Thank you for contacting me. The veteran identification cards and renewals are provided for free in recognition of veteran service. Well, that's not what the law said. So you see in there, there's not talking about the law anywhere, right? So, and you may file an online application at how to apply for VA veteran ID card at veteransaffairs.va.gov. If you wish to file a complaint with the Department of Veterans Affairs Office of Inspector General, you may call some number or visit some place. And also, if you're not satisfied with your veteran service organization, I have attached a form on how to file a complaint. In addition, if you believe you've been a victim of a criminal act, you must contact an attorney of your personal choice to determine the options available to you in a court of law. Please know that as a member of Congress, I'm prohibited from engaging in matters involving the judicial system. Well, that isn't necessarily what I needed anyways. So, they write this blah, blah, blah. It got nothing to do with anything I said. Right? Sure, I can do this, but that's not what the law said. The law said pay a fee. I don't want a free one. I want to pay a fee. And the whole reason for that is you're going to tie all these different accounts together. They're going to have their paperwork squeaky clean because now we're talking about public funds. You're going to put money into a public fund. They got to keep a little more track about what's going on. And then how to file a complaint. This is basically just, some BS about if you believe your VSO representative or other individual organization acting illegal or unethical. And I can't say they've done that yet because I really didn't go to them with this yet. So I may be doing that here this week. I know that someplace they have a statement form to fill out instead of, asking for a benefit. From VBA to, ask for something. I'm going to try to ask for something from the Secretary of Veterans Affairs and cut the Department of Veterans Affairs out of the picture. But this, this statement about what he can and cannot do, well, this is where we came in because according to the Constitution, Congressman, that you have the ability to make all laws which are necessary and proper to carry into execution the foregoing powers. You get to execute the laws. Or at least issue the law so it will be executed. And all the other powers vested in this Constitution in the government of the United States. Well, that's the judicial power, brother. You got the power. Or in any Department of Veterans Affairs, or officer, Secretary of Veterans Affairs thereof. So I should be able to take it to you, and you can either get them to do it or do it yourself. And that's what I'm going to harp on until I get an answer from somebody, because that's the way it's supposed to work. Now, I know that people are going to say, no, this is going to work, da-da-da-da. I just point out what it says, right? That's my whole point of doing all these videos. I'm not claiming any of it's going to work. I'm just trying to do what things say to prove that they don't work. Over time, people pay attention. An SA gathers the information, goes in a data file, and, the military knows, hey, you could go talk to Retluski. He may know something about this. So I'm just trying to be ready to be an expert witness whenever it's required for the military tribunals. All the administrative state members are going to have to attend. Okay. Hang on just one second. And, well, I haven't really said it yet, that Congress can pass public laws and private laws. And so really I'm just asking for my private law. I want that card, sir. Issue the law so it can be executed and I can get the card. So Congressman Moolenaar, veteran requests his law. 38 U.S.C. 5706. Veterans Identification Card. And we'll see what they have to say. More on this later. Y'all have a great day. See you.